everyone, this is Mr. Crafty, and today I'm doing a review of Death Battles, One Punch Man versus Popeye'S. Now, we can all agree that Death Battle ain't too good when it comes to its scaling. But unlike most things, like where I've debunked two other videos in the past, this is more of a review, because I honestly think this was a great death battle, and I just want to review it and tell you why it's a great death battle. Anyway, let's just start it. I'm gonna skip some stuff, but I just want to show you the experiences.
Life is pain, brutal and short. The challenges we face during our brief sojourn on this tiny blue marble are what make us human. They light a fire in our
pretty whacked out monsters, like a giant who's over 1/4 of a kilometer tall and can stomp city-sized craters into the earth.
Or an Esper who can effortlessly pull giant meteors from outer space.
Or a Monster King who shaved off a continent from the Earth's surface and lifted it into the stratosphere. And Saitama's never even broken so much as a sweat fighting any of them.
During their battle, that same Monster King absorbed this huge chunk of the Earth's core and fired it at Saitama,
who blocked it by squirt gunning some lava at it. The lava he was bathing in, naked, and then he punched him. Surprise!
Saitama's created after images just by hopping side to side, defeated a martial arts master with his butt, and survived the inhospitable vacuum of space after being kicked all the way to the moon and before jumping back to Earth in about 16 seconds. That's 8% the speed of light.
Kinda like the time he blocked attacks from this alien dude who stated to move near light speed, or punch so fast his fist starts to blue ship. You know, that thing that happens when you approach the speed of light?
Saitama utilizes his absurdly superhuman strength and speed with techniques like his devastating normal punch, and if he wants to amp it up, the consecutive normal punches.
Are you kidding me? Those are his attack names? What kind of self-respecting anime protagonist is he?
Plain and simple, he's a satire of one. Instead of seeing his journey from the beginning and enjoying his struggle to the top, we join him when he's already there.
Basically, imagine if Goku went Super Saiyan in his fight against Jackie Chun. Kinda sucks all the drama out of it, doesn't it?
And that's the point. Far from the power fantasy the genre is known for, Saitama's life became an existential nightmare. Without suitable conflict, the struggle that had heretofore defined him became meaningless. His new reality was inescapably boring.
Which is really saying something when he can decimate mountains without even hitting them, or shatter asteroids that rank a 9 on the Torino scale. For those not in the Torino, that's equal to 1 trillion tons of TNT. This guy's training must have been insane.
That would be 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every single day.
I did like
technically doable, especially if you space them out. Doing 100 squats and then running half a marathon every single day would absolutely destroy your legs.
Put simply, effective workouts involve shredding muscle fibers at the micro level, then allowing them time to repair themselves more durable than before. This repair process requires hydration, consuming protein and carbohydrates, and lots of sleep.
But Saitama's workout schedule doesn't give them time to repair, which means he was basically just ripping himself to shreds over and over and over. After a few days, he shouldn't even have been able to move, but he just kept going.
There might be an explanation. Take the brilliant scientist Dr. Genus, whose half-century of research into evolution Saitama erased in, well, one punch. According to Genus's hypothesis, Saitama's training broke his limiter.
Basically, every living thing on Earth has a limit to their
He literally defied the laws of nature and reality. He just breaks the logic of his world. He crushed the entire field of evolutionary biology in the palm of his hand.
And while he has stated that his strength did eventually stop growing, it's pretty clear he's never gotten close to showing it off in full.
A lot of One Punch Man fans think he's just infinitely growing, which he even said himself, he doesn't think he can get any stronger. So I'm happy they paid attention to detail with that. Anyway, sorry.
When he fought the godlike alien conqueror Lord Boros, and finally broke out his serious punch. A blow where he punches a little harder than normal.
And reflected Boros' collapsing star-roaring cannon. Now you see, that's an attack name. An energy blast that was going to blow up the friggin' planet. That's over 50 zettatons of TNT.
You know what's a good thing I like? They don't just assume since it's, called the collapsing star drawing cannon, that it's star level. They actually go with what it was said to be able to do. That's like, I am happy they actually point that out. That made me happy. Anyway, let's continue.
Like a quadrillion of the world's strongest nukes going off at once.
Despite his obvious and overwhelming power, Saitama's accomplishments were never officially recognized. As if no one in their right minds could believe a psych ward Charlie Brown could save the world.
Well, he doesn't seem to mind. Almost as if being removed from anything resembling conflict gave him a perspective on how tropey and contrived his world is. Only Saitama's the only one in on the joke, because who cares about how far up their own ass a supervillain is when you can just chill at home with your buds and play video games?
Maybe that was the real lesson all along. Not to value our lives based on our accomplishments, but on the time we spend living and enjoying life's simple pleasures.
Let's go to...
And never return.
So Popeye grew up with a chip on his shoulder and a pop in his eye.
Backstory.
His animation, Popeye's body is essentially made of, well, rubber, able to stretch, twist, squish, and squash any way he likes.
Or rev up his arm for a punch that'll knock you around the planet.
Popeye's punches are fascinating, since they can disincorporate their targets into composite elements, like turning anchors into fishes, an alligator into handbags, and several Native Americans. I don't even want to know.
I think the reason's pretty simple, Wiz. He's a cartoon. He can basically do whatever he wants. He can shoot fire from his corncob pipe, pull a canyon closed, punch bolts of lightning out of the air, and even give the sun a black eye.
Judging by the distance the sun is from the Earth, as well as the time it took for the high striker puck to reach it, the puck must have been moving at 500 times the speed.
The speed feed they calc for him. It's like they're doing, I don't know, they're doing so good. Like what they did for One Punch Man was already very good. They didn't assume he was star level, and so far it didn't look like they were assuming he had infinite strength, like a lot of crazy One Punch Man fans think. And so far they're doing really good with Popeye, even going over some of his ludicrous abilities he has.
Light. In order to generate that force, Popeye must have swung his fist just as fast. Hell, he's even shadowboxed so fast he's somehow occupied 2 places at once and hit himself.
So, was he just born this way? Is being ugly the secret to pulling insane bullshit superpowers out of your ass? Because if so, you might want to get on that, buddy.
No. The secret to Popeye's immense physical strength is simply the virtue of nutrition.
I knew you'd find a way to make it lame.
Specifically, Popeye has spent his life consuming a miracle herb that has turned him from a mere sailor into a veritable god. Spinach.
Propaganda straight from the bean counters at Big...
Here we go.
4 calories. When used in Popeye's world, its effects are multiplied. Not only does it immediately increase Popeye's already impressive strength and speed even further, it makes him virtually impervious to harm.
It lets him fly, turn invisible, shapeshift his body into literally anything, and even survive the universe getting turned off. That's right, this big whatever the hell that thing is apparently God, and he turned off reality in order to kill Popeye and his friends. Because why not? Except guess what? Popeye was fine. Why? Because he eats his spinach.
I wonder what its nutritional content is like.
This is my favorite part.
Let's find out with math.
No!
A single can of spinach in Popeye's world was once able to grow a beanstalk so tall it reached into outer space, all the way to a nearby solar system, and shattered this stylized yellow star. By measuring the volume of this spinach stalk and including the caloric density of regular spinach, we can calculate one single can of Popeye's spinach contains over 46 undecillion calories. That's over 700 octillion times greater than the total calories the average person will consume over their entire life.
That's over 46 million Yoda tons of TNT, enough to destroy, well, a star, or enough to punch your annoying neighbors so hard that when they land, they tilt the Earth.
By measuring the angle of the planet after tilting, we can determine its axis was adjusted by about 13 degrees in less than a second. That's a speed of about 1.8 million meters per second.
I wonder, is that enough to power a rocket ship so fast it travels backwards in time? Yeah, 'cause that happened. I only know of one type of herb that'll take you through time. Whatever kind of spinach it is, it sure ain't normal.
Not true. Popeye doesn't consume some special magical spinach. Any kind will do, even if it's handed to him by the audience in the real world watching his cartoon.
He can summon cans to his side by whistling for them, praying to gods, painting them into reality, or just waving his hands. The dude has literally been disintegrated into nothingness. Then his nothingness grabbed a spinach can out of nowhere and ate it. Nothing ate it. His nothing. And then he came back with his I don't know.
He can even punch so hard he tears the film strip he's being animated on, or exit his cartoon to beat the shit out of his own anime.
So Popeye's basically fought two different versions of God and whooped their asses. You know, he's a pretty chill broski, considering he's basically a spinach-eating Lovecraftian nightmare.
But he's always down for a scrap, so if you decide to antagonize him, be aware you're messing with one of cartoon's all-time heavyweight champions. And, for your own sake, eat your fucking vegetables.
But can I say, real quick, this part of the fight...
Alright, the combatants are set. We've run the data through all possibilities.
Got a scratch on you.
I know, right? Overwhelming strength is so... boring.
I can't read that.
That was my most favorite part of the entire fight. I don't care what you say, that's hilarious. But let me just get to that.
Isn't Saitama's whole gag that he can't lose?
It is, but it's more nuanced than that. Despite breaking his limiter, Saitama's strength isn't limitless. He's said so himself.
So breaking his limiter meant his potential strength was likely infinite, but there's nothing left in his world powerful enough to push him to get stronger, like a bodybuilder stuck with 5-pound dumbbells.
He also doesn't possess some magical ability to kill someone in one punch regardless of effort. Powerful adversaries like Boros and Garo have survived his blows repeatedly, albeit briefly, and he's never met anyone quite like Popeye the Sailor Man.
According to the mangaka, One Punch Man's gag is that Saitama is an anime protagonist.
Yeah, do you read that? Bias One Punch Man fans? Even DeathBattle understands. His gag isn't him being infinite power or infinite strongest. It's him just being put at his endgame power, like, you know, Goku or, I don't know, Naruto, or people like that. So even if DeathBattle understands it, then come on, One Punch Man fans, you should understand it. This is massive props to DeathBattle for actually understanding this. I was so scared that they're going to say, oh, he has infinite power. But, you know, they didn't. I'll just continue with the explanation.
At the end of his series, slapped in at the beginning of his series, where he's too strong to have a challenge.
So, if we know Saitama's strength does have a limit, what is it?
We know he can deflect Boros' planet-destroying blast, but he was clearly super casual about it. He may have called it his serious punch, but that's the joke. He's only now getting kind of serious.
In order to get as generous a number as possible, let's assume Saitama was exerting the least amount of effort he could to throw that punch. Since he's still technically a human, we can assume the ratio between the least amount of effort possible and most is relatively consistent with other humans. Let's just say he burned the equivalent of only 1 calorie relative to the strongest punch ever recorded, which was over 1,000 joules. For reference, the average person burns about 1 calorie a minute doing absolutely nothing. So this is assuming Saitama is literally as casual as physically possible.
That'd make his strongest punch about 200 times greater than his weakest. Using Boros' energy blast as a base, Saitama's theoretical strongest punch would be over 11 yotatons of TNT. That's absolutely insane, enough to annihilate Uranus 4 times over.
Well, that's impressive, but that's still far less than Popeye's star-busting power, which was millions of times greater. Sure, this is only an estimate. We don't know Saitama's full strength exactly. But the point is, whatever it may be, it can be measured.
That's right, but trying to compare them with just numbers isn't the whole story.
While Saitama can break his world fairly easily, it's still a semi-realistic world that generally obeys the laws of physics.
Popeye in his world, on the other hand, can't really be measured at all. The dude's occupied 2 places at the same time, ripped the film strip he's animated on, and knocked out the guy drawing him. Can't do math to figure that out. Popeye's just on a whole other level of bullshit.
Even if Saitama was strong enough to kill Popeye in 1 punch, Popeye has survived being fully disintegrated, only to recover good as new. Hell, God turned off all of reality and Popeye just ignored it.
And on the flip side, there was...
And so with the whole thing, like that's him at least being universal, Popeye being universal because he can, survive, a universal type thing. So like easy, much stronger than One Punch Man. But let's let them finish. I like the way they sealed both characters.
Nothing stopping Popeye from just turning Saitama into a bunch of eggs, which he can do without spinach. So even if Popeye was weaker, he'd still have a way to finish the job in one punch.
Saitama was easily one of the strongest combatants we've ever seen, but pure strength was no match for Popeye's insane power, survivability, and plain old cartoon shenanigans.
If you thought nothing could match the One Punch Man, now you know Popeye's spinach can.
The winner is Popeye.
I just love this step battle so much. There was really no bias stuff. The calculations were good for both characters. Hell, I have to like redo my One Punch Man calculations just that an extra 200 times stronger just because they actually to my own calculations because they're actually really smart and did that. So this is a really good fight. Popeye really, easily wins. I'm just happy that they actually, did a really good video. They went in depth in every angle. And I know DeathBattle gets a lot of hate, but they do pull some good stuff, and they're actually much better than they started out with. It's obviously much better than what they did for Aizen. Well, anyway, I guess that's it. I rank this, in my opinion, this is my favorite DeathBattle of all time, and this is at good 9 out of 10 scaling, if not 10 out of 10. Anyway, I guess that's all for my thing. Let's hope this doesn't get copyrighted, but this was a really good DeathBattle. Mr. Crafty, out.